Hello, everyone, and today we're back in our one road city of Springfield, is what it's been called. We have passed 10,000 people, and today we're gonna see how much farther we can make it go on this one single little tile of land that we have here. Hopefully, we can fill up the whole thing with high density traffic, or high density buildings, rather, and yeah, make it as big as possible. So I just realized I had a bunch of the mods still active, so I've gotten rid of those, and we're ready to start diving into this again. As you can see, we've got some traffic building up here, but the next big thing we're going to be working on is we're going to be working on adding more schools and high density, and then as I was saying, we're going to see how much of the rest of this tile we can fill in before it becomes too much traffic and too much to deal with and everything else, which hopefully will take quite a while. I think we're doing really well at this point, actually. Currently, the town is running into a constant problem of needing more schools to fulfill the educated person requirement for office buildings and the like, and not having enough power for it all. So it's actually gotten a little dicey, but we're starting to get there. We're building up some good amount of money, 4,000 a week ish, which should get us there pretty soon. We're gonna have to sit at this size for a while though, while we expand our school districts. And as you can see, we've still got to work on our fire and healthcare, as well as police, and then of course, as mentioned, education, which is downright terrible, especially at the high school level. So in order to build out all the schools we need, we're going to have to sit here for a while and build up a good amount of funds and slowly build out our school district and our high schools and our elementary schools. And there's going to be a lot of them because, as mentioned, they only go down the road, so they can't go very far and they can't cover as many houses as they normally would. All of those little dings is because of the improvements I've made. I've put in a couple of parks and a couple more schools, and it's making a lot of people really happy and they're upgrading their houses. That's what you like to see, and it means that more people are going to be moving into our city, and also we're going to be earning more money. This is what our park infrastructure looks like now. Obviously, it's not fully built out, but most of the important areas are looking pretty good. Similarly, with our schools, we've significantly expanded our network here. We've got 4 high schools now instead of the one or just 2, however many there were before. And we're starting to earn a little bit more money, more like 5,000 a month, and we haven't even expanded our road network at all. So we're doing pretty good, or 5,000 a week, I should say, not 5,000 a month. We keep having abandoned building issues. They're not getting enough customers, probably because people aren't spending enough money. They're not highly educated enough, and the buildings aren't, a high enough level, but they are getting there. They're starting to expand. And the reason they're able to expand is, like I said, that expanded healthcare and park infrastructure raises the land value, which makes it more likely that they're going to hit the third or fourth or fifth level. As it mentions here, they need to be more educated in order for this one to get larger or go up in ranking, and now it is. Um, that's because we're starting to expand our high school infrastructure here and starting to expand the rest of our school network. Okay, we built out our next section of road, and this is actually where we're going to put our little cargo airport. We're going to have to put it somewhere right about here, which will cause some problems in here in terms of noise. So we're going to have to load up a bunch of trees around it. But the reason we want it right here is so that it's kind of partially through the city's loops, so that all of these trucks have an alternate place to go instead of all going through this roundabout, which is obviously starting to cause some minor issues. Um, the other thing we could do here is we could get rid of this and like do a second road, but see, then that defeats the purpose of having a one road city. So for now, we're kind of stuck with this traffic situation. The rest of the city, as you can see, is actually doing fairly well traffic wise. It's really just at this one intersection, which is what you would expect with a setup like this. We're just going to build out the rest of our infrastructure here for this new section of road. As we should probably build a couple other police stations down here somewhere, but beside the point. And then we do want to be mindful of where this airport's noise limitations end. And it looks like it's here. So I'm just going to build a little road right there. That tells me this is the path I don't want to cross with my residential. Everything in here should be commercial or industrial, just to keep the noise complaints down. So we're going to build right up to that line, and then all of the rest of this is going to be commercial or industrial. We'll just leave it like that for now, and then we'll build up the airport, and we'll see what that leaves us with in terms of our RICO, our residential, commercial, and industrial demand. Also, we've got to get rid of a few abandoned buildings that are starting to crop up here again, and a lot of that is because people can't reach the stores. We're also going to keep building out our parks, make people pretty happy. We're just doing small ones because they don't go very far and they're done by proximity in that circle, not by proximity down the road. So we don't need to worry too much about that. See, they're all very happy. There we go. We finally have built our airport, and as you can see, a bunch of trucks are going to that instead of through the roundabout. We still have a lot of traffic problems right near that major industrial area, but we have diverted a lot of traffic towards that cargo airport. It's not nearly as bad at that roundabout as it used to be. Most of the trucks now have slowly diverted off, and they're still working on it, but they'll slowly divert as they get used to the idea that there's an airport there now. We also have a lot of people moving in, which is causing a lot of this traffic as well. But yeah, feeling pretty good about this now that we've got an airport. I had to take out a loan to do it. It was $200,000 plus all the soil that's there. I don't have the airport DLC, so I couldn't make my custom cargo airport, but this one will do just fine. It's small enough, and I don't want to waste a lot of space in my city building around an airport. Going through now and starting to change up some of these industrial areas that are at the ends of each road here to commercial and office buildings. We don't need that much industry now, especially with the cargo airport and with our citizens becoming more starting to replace some of these industrial areas with office areas and commercial areas. We don't need as many industrial areas now with our citizens becoming more and more educated. And it will also help us save on truck traffic, which is still going to be a problem at that roundabout, but not through most of the rest of the roads. And it'll also help prevent a bunch of fires. Especially with the commercial airport, we don't need to import, uh, especially with the commercial airport. Especially with the cargo airport, we're not going to need as many trucks running around the town in as many industrial areas as we can just import all our goods. We've expanded our road network once again, and the town is starting to fill in quite nicely, even around that airport, which is creating a bit of a little dead spot there. We were able to fill in a lot of the buildings right next to the airport with offices and commercial, which is perfect because they don't care about the noise from the airplanes, and all the rest is residential, and it's starting to really take off. I'm gonna start putting in a few more roads before I start expanding the rest of the residential into high density. But as you can see, the traffic through most of the city and the roundabout is no longer filled up. However, over here on the main road next to the roundabout, it's still pretty busy. I guess we will still need to kind of fix these industrial areas more towards the airport if we can. City has passed another major milestone. We are up over 20,000 citizens. That's right, in this one road city, there are 21,500 people living here, which is a pretty sizable town, city skylines or in real life. No real traffic issues except at the roundabout, and there's just a lot extra city service buildings, but otherwise, it's looking, packed, but decent, and there's a lot of people here, and they seem pretty happy. For those stats nerds out there, here's our traffic flow. Now, this is without Traffic Manager President's Edition, which I do normally use, but our traffic flow is bouncing about 85 to 90%, depending on what's hitting the roundabout at any particular time. Our citizen happiness is somewhere between 90 and 94%, except commercial areas, which are very upset because they can't get any products. Land value is also decently high in the middle of the city where all the citizens are living, and obviously pretty low where the airport is and all the recycle centers. City's starting to generate a lot of money. We were able to pay off our $200,000 loan that we took to build the airport, and we've actually got a ton more money, like over 100 grand left. We're earning over $10,000 a week, and the only big issue we're having now is a lot of buildings are actually becoming abandoned because we don't need the industry anymore. So we're going to convert a bunch of the industry over to offices, and that'll also help reduce our ground pollution and maybe make our people a little happier. If you're noticing some dead spots in the center, that's because we've started converting our low density housing over to high density. But there are so many people moving into the high density housing already that it's actually not keeping up with demand. And we're just going to have to wait a while for this to fill in, particularly like right over here and also a little bit in here. There's occasional spots like there and there that are zoned and are ready for people, and it's high land value, and people want to move in. It's just they're not moving in fast enough. An interesting thing to note about this city is despite having expanded to the point now where we're at 30,000 people, where we left off on the last video was 10,000, there really isn't that much more traffic. This is due to a couple of things, one of which is without Traffic Manager President's Edition, cars will despawn if they have to go too far. So, of course, as the road gets longer and longer and longer, they're still going to despawn the same distance into the road so that a lot fewer cars are traveling the full length of the road. But the other thing is, as we've expanded, we've gotten rid of industry, and we actually have less industry now than we did when we were at 10,000 people. Most of the industry has been replaced with offices or commercial buildings, or just destroyed as they don't need it anymore. A massive fire has broken out here with the trees. Oh dear lord. Let's see how this plays out here. It looks like our fire trucks are responding, but the problem is it's one long road, so fire trucks are coming from all the way up here, as you can see, and they have to circle all the way around, and that's causing some issues. The fire has spread to the other side of the airport now, and it looks like it's actually going to spread to the far side of the field here, to the other houses on the other side, or the other industry on the other side. Well, we've officially hit 32,000, over 30,000. My goal was initially only 20,000, so we've blown right past that today. We've got an airport, we've got a solar power plant now that is providing a lot of extra power for us, so we shouldn't run out for a long time. The only thing we're running into is demand issues. We need more industrial areas and maybe a few more offices. But otherwise, traffic's looking pretty good. People are getting everywhere. There's plenty of parks. There's lots of education facilities, lots of healthcare, fire, etc. And honestly, yeah, it's still growing and it's not in debt yet. It's doing extremely well. So as far as this challenge goes, I think we're doing really good. I think the next place I want to go is up to 50,000 and maybe see if I can get like 100,000 in this one tile. I don't think I can quite do 100,000, but I think I can do 50,000. So now we'll have to wait for part 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next video. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you do, Alfredo here says you should subscribe. Or maybe check out this video that YouTube recommends. Well, go on. Why don't you do it?